Hello, my divine lovelies. Thank you so much for joining me here again today on the Daily Yapper. I am Sare the Celestial. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate all of you for not only having patience with me since I haven't been very active and I was active all of last week or most of last week. And then this week it's been definitely like pacing myself. I will say I have been in the energy where I am just angry. Like, outside of the worldwide things going on, because I know that if you live in the Americas, then you know currently what the results of the election were. So that has a lot of people and their emotions at a very, very high level of intensity, of anger, rage, aggression, however you would like to phrase it, just depending on who you stood beside and what you were voting for. Um, I will say that I know that the world is kind of at odds and ends, and today is the day that Mercury pre-retrograde shadow actually starts. So that does not help the energy today, but I wanted to actually get out a message regarding the Mercury pre-retrograde shadow because I feel like I was just called to give a message, and this isn't going to be like the regular length of episodes. This is truly just going to be short, sweet, to the point because I don't have the energy. I don't even have the patience for myself at the moment. Like, let's be real. I barely even have the patience with myself and other people at the moment, but I still felt called to do this message today and get it out. So we have multiple oracle decks today. However, the one oracle deck that I am going to be using because it is a new one is going to be these romance angels oracle cards. And I absolutely love them. They're beautiful. I had been waiting to get them because I felt like I just wasn't being called to them just yet. But, I just wanted to get them. I finally got him or get him. Oh my goodness. I finally got to get them. Yay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. I did write out specific messages or at least questions in my Poe book, as I do, for the Mercury in Sagittarius retrograde shadow. Okay. So now I will go ahead and give you the dates before I start on the questions. Mercury retrograde does start on the 25th of November and it goes until the 15th of December. And until today, the pre-retrograde shadow starts, so make sure that you are practicing as if you're already in the Mercury retrograde because the pre-retrograde shadow is truly just showing you some of the things that are going to be revisited. It can show you some of the topics that you need to be focusing on or what needs your attention the most during this time. Whenever a planet goes retrograde, it is going so slow or moving so slow in the sky that it appears to be going backwards. And with Mercury, as with all the other planets, they have their pre and post retrograde shadow periods. Post, of course, means after the retrograde has dissolved and the planet is moving direct again. This Mercury post retrograde shadow will be ending on January the 2nd of 2025, just to give you a bit of information and knowledge regarding it. And it is going to be in the fire sign, the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius. So whenever we think of Sagittarius, we need to be thinking about expansion. We need to be thinking about higher learning or things where you truly do have to hit your head and find out the hard way. Like if you cannot be real enough with yourself to be able to see the dark because oftentimes Sagittarius, especially Mercury in Sagittarius and Sagittarius moons, often don't like seeing the darker parts or the not so like vibe. They don't like going into heavy areas and in heavy detail. And during Scorpio season, that is just not it. That's not the case. And because Mercury is technically in detriment in Sagittarius as well as in Pisces, we need to be very mindful of the things that we're saying and how we might be able to pop off out the side of our necks or out the side of our mouths during this time and how people might be also doing that to us. Now, the first question is, how can I prepare for the upcoming Mercury retrograde? How can we be preparing for this upcoming Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius? We got our first two. All right, so Oh, not that we got the Sagittarius card. Like, so this is a major arcana. It is temperance. And temperance is actually symbolized and actually, so sorry. Temperance is symbolized and represented by Sagittarius because it is about patience. It's about knowledge. It's about learning. It's about all of the things that we need to be realizing while we're on our journey. You know, temperance tells you to take a step back because everything is always continuously flowing, even whenever you take that step back and you just let the waters kind of settle. And then we have the Queen of Cups. So, with those two here on how we can prepare for the Mercury retrograde coming up, we need to be patient. Like I was just saying, we need to be patient with ourselves. We need to be patient with other people. We also need to be very mindful about how we are looking at certain challenges that can come into our atmosphere during this time. Change your perspective quite a bit before you actually handle, tackle, or even address anything that comes your way during this time. Do not react first. If you have any choice or any decisions that you can possibly be making right now, do not react first. You let them show their own personality. You let them show their ass. You let them show whatever it is that they need to, because truths are being revealed during this time. And whenever you actually sit back and listen, you can hear the honesty and you can hear the lies. So much easier and so much clearer. Now, with the Queen of Cups here, I feel like she is definitely, again, teaching you to be mindful. Make sure you're not being manipulative. Make sure that you are remembering that your emotions are your own, and whatever someone decides to do, that's their business. Even if it is against you, that is their business. They have got to handle that on their own. Do not be reacting. Do not use this time to try and be petty or get one up on somebody. It's just not going to work out. It's just not. I don't feel like, if you have a petty bone in your body like I do, like I've always known myself as the queen of petty. However, at sometimes it's just not the best practice, especially for you and your peace of mind, right? All right. Now, the next question was, in what areas of my life should I be encouraging my continued learning? I think that this one is definitely an excellent one for the upcoming Mercury placement and what it's going to be in, because it's in Sagittarius, which is about higher learning and continued learning, like you're a lifelong student. And most Sag placements really are. They never stop learning and they never stop being able to give you wisdom and amazing insight from how they see something. I know a lot of people like to say bad things about Sagittarius placements, like especially with commitment and being, I guess, unfaithful. But at the end of the day, Sagittarius is just like every other fire sign, and they're going to be authentic and true to their own self. And if you get in the way, or if you're just collateral damage, that's not their problem. That's just not my problem. That's such a Sag thing. All right. Now, in what areas should I be embracing or encouraging my continued learning? We have a few here. Now, we're going to go ahead and get into this. Again, trying to make this as short as possible. But we have a few. We have the Nine of Wands reversed. We have the Eight of Swords upright. Now, the Nine of Wands reversed makes me feel like you are burning yourself out and possibly using extra effort that you don't need to be using. There's some extra ways in which you are doing things, and you could actually be helping yourself by just not being so extra. Like Sag energy. You're being a bit more extra than you need to be, when really you need to be thinking, work smarter, not harder. Because Mercury and Sagittarius can make us think that we need to do the most. We need to go all the way out. We need to be going above and beyond at whatever it is that we're doing, and we need to show up and show the hell out. And that's just not the energy you need to be harboring, not the energy that you need to be operating in either. At this time, I feel like you need to be operating in the energy where you are releasing yourself from your own trials and your own bondage. The Eight of Swords is about hiding, or at least being in your own form of self-imprisonment. As you can see, she is actually imprisoning herself, and if she would just lift the hood off of her face, she would be able to navigate and get through the swords just fine. In the regular and in the Raiders Waite illustrations tarot, it actually shows a woman being bound and tied up, and she has an actual like blindfold on, but the swords are all around her, where if she just leaned back a little bit, she could cut herself out of the ropes and take the blindfold off and she'd be free. But that's just not, you need to be in that energy. Do not be in the energy of overworking yourself and getting yourself to the place of burning out. I need you to take a step back and see how you might be imprisoning yourself in this, okay? Because you are not bound to the expectations of anybody else outside of yourself. And even there, you need to make sure you're making realistic milestones, realistic goals, and realistic, honestly, things for you to check yourself. Make sure that you are being realistic with yourself. You're not being overzealous or even applying more, what is the word? Exaggerated. There we go. I was trying to pinpoint the word that I'm looking for. Exaggerated is the word that I'm looking for. You do not need to be exaggerating anything. You do not need to be going the extra mile on anything but you. Everybody else's expectations can wait because they have nothing to do with you. This is an inner thing. I feel like you are having to really check yourself. I feel like maybe there's some deadlines at work and you feel like you can meet that deadline if you just do the basic stuff, but you want to go there. You want to go above and beyond and show how you're an asset to the team and how you are able to be the best team player of all. But really, that's not what you're being called to do, because you might actually miss the deadline and then look like you're falling behind, and you're not. You could have easily met and gotten your work in on time, if not before the deadline. So let's just do that, because your energy needs to be prioritized, especially because we currently have a Mars retrograde that is going to be happening December the 6th. You need to make sure that your energy is being used in the most valuable ways possible, because you don't need to be overexerting yourself and exaggerating the things and your efforts that you're doing, because you're only doing that for outside approval, and it's not necessary. They already approve of you. They wouldn't have you on this assignment if they didn't. You see what I'm saying? All right. Now, let's move on to the last question, which is advice for making the most of this upcoming Mercury retrograde transit. How can we be making the most out of this transit? There goes one. Ooh, we got the Ace of Swords. There's new ideas coming. Okay, so with the Ace of Swords coming out first, I'm thinking there's new ideas if you just allow yourself the room to think about it. If you just take your mind off of whatever it is that has been taking your time, energy, and mental capacity away from you, you could be like me at the moment, where you feel like you are not meeting your goals, and it's only because it's what you would expect out of you if you were a consumer. You know what I mean? If you were your boss, what would you expect you to do? And I need you to get out of that energy, because you're not your boss. Okay? Stop being that person. Stop being your own worst critic. Okay? You are doing amazing. Truly. You are. I think that's it. I don't think that there's any more advice for making the most out of this upcoming transit. I dropped a few and they were all face down. So they definitely were not messages. So the final message from tarot is telling you to make sure that you are being open to any ideas. As you can see, there is a knot here and the sword is cutting through all of the rope. You are having mental knots in your head about where you are currently at and what you should currently be doing. And you have got to cut yourself free of that bondage and of that way of thinking. Okay? Because new insights, new ideas are coming. You just have to stop being so critical and so harsh on yourself here. I promise it all ends up working out. It really does, All right. And I realized that I did not do my runes last time, so I apologize. We are gonna do the astrology runes really quick. And I did actually end up going back and recording a video. And I want to say that all of the air signs, Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini, came out whenever I drew it. And I was like, okay, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me get one more. And it still gave me retrograde. It didn't give me another sign. So, air signs, please make sure that you're being mindful of yourself and your energy and where you're putting your time, and especially your thoughts and your mouth this retrograde, okay? And I'm not saying put like your mouth in unsavory places. No, I'm saying watch your mouth, because you don't know what information about you that you're giving up to people for them to go and circulate and gossip about, okay? With Jupiter and Gemini, and it's also retrograde, you do not want to be testing it at all. Keep your business to yourself, okay? All right, so I'm trying not to get them like all over the floor. All right. Ooh, I'm feeling 3. Oh, 4. We got 4. All right, let's do it. So we got we got Sagittarius. I'm trying to focus. I'm supposed to be getting a new camera set up soon, so hopefully we will not encounter any issues going forward, but there's Sag. And then we have Pisces. And then Taurus. And Saturn. Reminds me of SZA's song, Saturn. I'm not going to get a copyright issue. However, if please, for my Saturnian girls like myself, because I'm also ruled by Saturn. Saturn is going to be ruled by Capricorn and Aquarius. So my Cap and Aquarius placements. Hey, how y'all doing? And then for Taurus, Taurus is a fixed earth sign. And I'm trying to think right now. We actually have all the planets. I was going to say Sun in Scorpio is currently opposing Uranus in Taurus at the moment. So for my Taurus placements, hey, how y'all doing? I hope that you are doing excellent with the energy that the skies have been giving us to work with. For fixed signs, it has not been fun. I'm going to tell you right now, it has not been fun. And for my Sag placements, what up? I hope that you guys are doing excellent and that you're going to continue to have an excellent time during this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. But as I said, we're going to go ahead and do the Romantic Angels Oracle so that we can get one last message out. Oh, and there it goes for Mercury retrograde in Sag. Hold up. It's way down there. All right, there we go. So we have very soon. It says, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Get what you want in order. Start manifesting. If you didn't manifest for the new moon in Scorpio that we just had, that just reminded me. We got the Taurus astrology. Rune. And it's funny because our upcoming full moon on the 15th is in Taurus. Clicks after. And then give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. Mercury retrogrades can oftentimes bring around exes. So this is not meaning work on your partnership with your ex. This does not mean that unless your ex and you guys separated on some type of weird whim and he actually or she is a good person. He, she, they are a good person. And it really was just a misunderstanding. However, I would like to add that anything that you do within the Mercury retrograde period, whenever the planet actually does go retrograde, is going to be temporary. Considering fire sign energy and oftentimes what that can be involved in, this is temporary. It's going to end quickly. Don't get back with anybody during Mercury retrograde season. Don't move. Don't sign any contracts unless they were already being formulated and made before Mercury went retrograde. I stand on that. I stand on that. I stand on that. And I practice that myself. I tell everyone around me in my love circle to practice that because I've been one of those people who did something during a Mercury retrograde period. Thank goodness it was an Earth Mercury retrograde, so it took longer for it to finally unfold and end. However, keep those things in mind. Whenever you're trying to decipher astrology and what these messages are meaning, think about the sign, think about the modality such as mutable, fixed, and cardinal. Think about those things. And because this is a mutable fire, unstable is all get out. Do not be doing anything or starting anything new unless it's a project and you can control all of the ins and outs of it, because now would be a great time to start extra learning. If you want to go and start a class, that's a good idea. That's a good idea for Mercury retrograde if you're wanting to go and enroll in a class. But it's going to end anyway. It's got to be a short-term thing, basically, is what I'm saying. Don't start any permanent or semi-permanent things during Mercury retrograde. Like, please. I know that everybody tells you this, but like, as somebody who's had to do it, as somebody who's had to deal with it, don't learn from me. I have a Sag placement, okay? Like I've had to be the fuck around and find out person for others, okay? All right, well, without further ado, that is your message for the upcoming Sag Mercury retrograde and everything that that's going to bring. I want you guys to let me know your experiences in the comments. Please like and share this video with anybody who you know is either has Sag placements or can be a little scatterbrained and needs a little reconnection and realigning and making sure that they hold their tongue just as much as we all do, okay? I love you guys. Stay divinely blessed, guided, supported, and amazingly amazing in everything that you do. Bye.